What's up, guys? This is BSG Trek Fan 88 here. It is currently 2:15 in the morning on May 20th. I just got back from my late showing of Battleship. Now, I liked this movie. A lot of people do not like it, including some of my favorites from thatguywiththeglasses.com, like the Cinema Snob and his pals, Film Brain. I liked it. Now, to give you a little bit of a backstory before I go over why I like this movie, I was a United States Naval Sea Cadet for 9 years, from 2001 to technically, whatever, nine years, which is basically like the ROTC only for the Navy and Coast Guard. It's much more hands-on. I've literally gone to Coast Guard and Navy trainings that you wouldn't be allowed to do until you've been in said Navy or Coast Guard for a few years, like excuse me, fisheries and law enforcement training, boarding training, boarding party training, damage control, whatever. I have a unique understanding of how the Navy and Coast Guard works. I've literally worked side by side, believe it or not, with them. I have numerous awards and commendations from the actual Coast Guard in my name. So I know a lot about how the Navy and Coast Guard really work. I know a lot about ship design and specifications and what our naval force is capable of, such as destroyers, battleships, cruisers. I know a lot about that. You can ask me anything you want and I know the answers. So I have a lot of respect for that and I know a lot about it. I love World War II naval history. I've said this before, a lot of books on it that I'll do a video on at some point, but anyway, Battleship. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's not perfect. It could have been better in a couple of areas. Some things were kind of whatever, just forgivable because of the type of movie that it is. I don't think that this movie was bad. I do not think that this was a Transformers ripoff like a lot of people are calling it. I can see why people are calling it Transformers 4 because of the way, you know, the movie sounds with the alien technology and the way that it moves and gets, you know, weapons get put together. You know what? Yes, it looks and sounds like Transformers, but stop saying it's a fucking clone. It's not. In my opinion, this movie is better than Transformers 3. I said it. Go ahead. Put your fucking comment in the comment section below if you disagree. Reason being, this movie knows what it is, and in some cases doesn't. It's a movie based on the game Battleship. Now, I'm not going to do... I actually recorded 10 minutes earlier, and I kept going back into the plot. I'm not going to do that. This is not going to... This will have some spoilers in it, mainly the end. This will not consist of a plot synopsis. This is mainly why I like, didn't like, and thought about the movie Battleship. To make a movie about the board game Battleship, I think it succeeded. Now, the movie is not literally, like, the whole thing is not Battleship the board game. The way that they set up what resembles Battleship is actually pretty clever. You know, the whole grid, you know, A11, D5, finding your enemy and firing, and hopefully it's a hit or not, and not a miss. They actually pulled that off, in my book, pretty believable for a movie. It wasn't just point blank, oh, shoot here, miss, damn, shoot here. You know, there's a reason why they did what they had to do. So that was cool. The aliens themselves, you know, Earth sends out a signal to another planet that's called Planet G, which is the Goldilocks type of planet where it's literally Earth-sized, around Earth-sized, the perfect distance from the sun, you know, can support life, so we send a message and aliens receive it and come here. And like Columbus and the Indians, you know, we're the Indians and the aliens are Columbus. They find a new world and they want to, you know, keep it for themselves. Whatever, there's a little bit more to this, but again, go see the movie if you want a plot synopsis. The special effects in this movie I thought were actually pretty decent. I mean, my brain knows that an actual Arleigh Burke class destroyer is not being destroyed in front of me. Duh. But, you know, the effects for what they are actually pretty cool. The design of the aliens, we only get to see them a little bit. What I did like is the aliens are not just super beings that have mega powers and can do anything. The aliens actually have armor, like Iron Man or Master Chief. You know, some have purely offensive and defensive armor where it's slower, but it's tough and has weapons on its arm. Others, like for the commander aliens or whatever, you know, are thin and simple and just for breathing and whatnot. The aliens don't like the sun, you'll find out in the movie, as in the brightness. Not like fucking vampires from Twilight, where if they see the sun, they sparkle or blow up. No, they just don't like brightness in their eyes. The way this movie was executed, it's kind of unique. You know, the 3 destroyers are cut off from the rest of the world because of the aliens, and they have to fend for themselves. You know, 2 of them get cut down and destroyed, and 1 of them remains, and when that 1 destroyer has to go up against the remaining alien forces, mainly 3 alien... They're not really ships, they kind of hop along the water, but whatever. You know, in my book, being a naval dude, it actually worked quite well. And I got to see, you know, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer firing everything it has against an alien target and winning. So later on in the movie, the Mighty Mo, the USS Missouri, is needed. Now, in a lot of reviews, people are complaining, oh, this 50-year-old, or this ship that was 50 years old that was decommissioned, you know, how did they get that running? Here's a couple of things for you. To my knowledge, which is a couple of years old on this fact, the USS Missouri is a museum ship. Yes. Is it decommissioned? It's mothballed. Yes. It still has fuel. Its propellers are still attached. It's everything that's critical about the USS Missouri is still fully functional, with the exception of maybe opening some doors that have rooms closed off that you need access to. Wiring is still there. Again, fuel is there. There is still ammunition on board, even though it's a tourist destination. She still has 16-inch shells, no Tomahawk missiles, none of that new shit. She still has 5-inch rounds, I believe, the powder to fire off the guns. Theoretically, what they do in the movie is they bring her back to life because, you know, the final destroyer gets destroyed, and there's only 1 ship that they have access to, and that's the Missouri. Okay, fine. We have a day, or half a day, to get this ship seaworthy and ready to go kick some ass. It would take more than half a day. I mean, if you really pushed it with about, you know, 100 people or 50 people, you could probably do it within a couple of days. But the Missouri is still seaworthy. She's still able to go out there. She's still able to fight. People who were in the reviews are going, this isn't possible. You're wrong. It is possible. It's just in the movie things are sped up a little bit, which is forgivable because it's a movie. As I said in the video a couple of days ago, from the trailers, it showed an Iowa-class battleship, the Missouri, you know, firing her 16-inch guns at a target. Now, the Iowa-class battleships were last used in 1991 during the Gulf War to fire off Tomahawks and to use her 16-inch, to this day, still powerful and effective, you know, cannons or guns for shore bombardment to make way for Marines. Well, unfortunately, back in 91, they didn't have digital technology like we do today, so all of the footage, dating all the way back to World War II when they were first built, of her firing her guns, yeah, you have video, but the audio isn't there. So I really wanted to see a battleship, you know, fire off its main guns on a really big screen and a good sound system, and I got to see that, and then some, which to me was really cool. In the end, I mean, I could go everywhere with this video. I just want to get my thoughts out there. I liked this movie. It's not perfect. They really don't know what they want to do with the aliens, in the sense that, you know, it's made very clear in this movie that the aliens, kind of like the Predator, know what's a threat or a target and know what's not a threat. For instance, they look at a destroyer and its guns and weaponry and go, yeah, that's a threat. Red, take him out. Versus a probe that can destroy and eat through anything, kind of like the Death Machine. You know, oh, this is a freeway, you know, barrier, but oh, let's take it out, but let's not run over a kid who is playing baseball. From what I watched in the movie, the aliens were taking out all major roadway access and communications to a spot on Hawaii, so maybe that's why it was red. I know a lot of people in reviews are talking about how, you know, why did it take out a freeway? Well, number one, it's the only freeway we saw, so maybe that's what they were doing, taking out the roadways. There's a scene where the alien literally, you know, sneaks up onto a dude trying to get a piece of equipment from a lab. Doesn't kill him, doesn't hurt him. You know, the dude's visibly shaking, and he literally just goes, you know, puts his hand on the box he's holding to stop him from shaking, and then goes like this. Not high five, but like, you know, pulls his hand away slowly, saying, you know, I'm not going to hurt you, just go away. Yet in other instances, if an alien sees a dude, the dude's dead. So I think that there's probably a little bit on the cutting room floor about the aliens themselves. Clearly, they're not a force to be reckoned with. Clearly, they're much more advanced than we are technology-wise. And clearly don't fuck with them. But for a movie based on the board game Battleship, could it have been worse? Yes. Could it have been better? A little bit. I think if they spent a little more time going over the major worldwide consequences, like with the military and heads of state, president, or secretary of defense. Hell, even just, you know, what did the aliens want? Would they want peace in the end? You know, would they want to wipe us out? Just a little bit more detail. I mean, this movie's 2 hours and 5 minutes as it is, and it uses up those 2 hours, most of the 2 hours, probably like an hour and a half on, you know, action scenes, you know, fighting, battle scenes. For what this movie was, I'm biased toward it, but I liked it. It was a good, solid movie. Knowing what I know about, you know, what a destroyer can do, what it has for weaponry, what its armor is, capabilities, I think it was a good movie. I think that if you really just have a drink, sit down, watch the movie, it's not perfect, you know, and it will leave you going, whatever, it's a Battleship movie. It's not a horrible movie, okay? Couple of things I want to nitpick. It's PG-13 if memory serves. It's not PG, yeah, it's PG-13. There are, I think, 4 or 3 instances in this movie where someone says motherfucker, but mother is said, fucker is cut off by an explosion or a cannon being fired or a missile being launched. Okay, it's PG-13, right? You're allowed, literally allowed, fucking hate the ratings board and everything they stand for. You're allowed 1 F-bomb in a PG-13 movie. It's allowed. If someone says fuck or fucker once, it can still get away with it. But 3 or 4 times in this movie where the F-bomb could have been dropped, it was cut off. And it was, in all 4 or 3 of them, were motherfucker. Like, there's this one great scene from a dude at the end. And by the way, when you watch, if you watch this movie, all of the former crew members of the Missouri are actual former crew members. And regardless of their acting skill, you know, one dude goes, you know, let's throw some lead on these motherfuckers, but fuckers is cut out by the explosion. So hopefully there's an unrated DVD or Blu-ray when it comes out. I think it was a little too obvious because of how many motherfuckers there were. Leave one of them in. Come on. And like I said before, I wish they dealt with more of a worldwide, you know, what is the threat that we're facing? What are we going to do thing here? Also, I mentioned that, you know, basically 3 destroyers in the Missouri are cut off from the rest of the world. Well, once that barrier is taken down, you know, jet fighters show up, but we don't see the rest of the fleet. And there's a good 30, 40, 50 naval ships from various different countries. I would love to have seen all of them, you know, launching their... And it's fully capable in real life of launching all of their Tomahawks, cruise missiles, to help the Missouri, because later on in the movie, literally, she needs help. Overall, you know, this is going on too long here. I want to talk more about it, but I'm not going to do this whole plot synopsis thing. I loved the movie in the sense that it appeals to my personal interests. I would probably give the movie 3 out of 4 stars, believe it or not. I would probably give it a B or a B minus for what it is. It's not a masterpiece. It's certainly not the best movie of the summer, nor will it be. But I liked it, and I think it could have been a lot worse. But it was actually pretty good. So if you have a chance, and you have a night off, and you've already seen Avengers, and Men in Black hasn't come out yet, go see Battleship. I liked it. So yeah, this is BH Truckman 88 signing off.